one of the best things that gifts you ever gave me was only do what only you can do. That goes back to the team and the delegation aspect of it. I got to some very low burnout points, and for me to be able to continue to be a strong, stable leader for the organization, I had to create those boundaries and really lean into that delegation.
Was there a time over the last decade of service that you really took a leap that felt risky or felt disruptive for you?
I would say how long did I last? I think I lasted about 12 months before you came in as a consultant. I was waving my white flag saying, I don't got this. I need help. Please come help me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inner Work, the Collective Growth Podcast. I'm MaryAnn Means-Dufrene, and so excited to have Ashton Theiss with us today. Hey, Ashton.
Hi. Afternoon. Good afternoon.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's good to know what time of day it is. We're always hustling, right? So we got to look at the clock once in a while. But Ashton, we're so glad to have you. You're a dynamic real estate broker, multimillion-dollar producer, and trailblazer in both traditional and land-based real estate, which is a little bit different. You're a fifth-generation Texan, Fort Worth resident, and TCU alum. And personally, I appreciate so much the fresh, authentic approach that you bring to real estate, combining marketing, deep local knowledge, and this fierce dedication to service that I love and appreciate you so much. And you've also been featured on HGTV, recognized here in Fort Worth as a 40 under 40 honoree by Fort Worth Business Press, and you'll soon co-host a real estate show on Paramount and Amazon Prime, which is amazing. So you've got so much going on in your world. You've built a strong reputation as a broker, a mentor, a top producer. What does your business or leadership world look like today?
It has been incredible to see these chapters and transitions over the past 5 years. So company was started in 2020. So we're, I guess, approaching 5.5 years now. And it's been all of these chapters and evolutions and different, phases of leadership and growth for me.
Wow.
We can kind of talk more about like the earlier times, but today, we really have gotten to kind of that more the size of the target size of the company that we're trying to reach. So we're right at 29 people total in the company, and a big goal early on, aside from like size of the company, was also what type of accounts, clientele do we have. And so in the past, like 12 to 18 months or so, we really have hit some huge benchmarks in terms of our builder and developer accounts. So I actually just got told earlier, I thought we were at 10. I guess we are actually at 11 now of builder and developer development accounts. And with that, we love the big project-based work that we're able to do with that. I mean, these are projects that we could be on. I mean, in some of the projects, I mean, those can be anywhere from 12 to 36 plus months on that. And so it's really cool to be able to have a role in being able to shape those developments and to be able to be connectors and really have our fingerprints all over these deals and just work with really incredible people. And then on the builder side too, I mean, those are accounts that we could really kind of have in perpetuity as well, and being able to help these builders with their brand and product and really have that partnership aspect of it. It's very rewarding. It gives us something that we're able to problem solve on so many different fronts, and really be able to have an impact on the landscape of how these areas are developing and changing.
Yeah, you're putting your fingerprints on our community.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
And we, and you and I have been working together for a long time, and it's such a blessing. And I know with your work, with people in the community, especially in real estate, so many transactions are deeply personal, right? This is, for a lot of people, the biggest transaction they'll ever do, their biggest investment potentially. And so you're used to, for the course of your career, being involved in some really intimate, but also high stakes deals with people. And now you're taking that to scale. How is that different for you kind of energetically in what you have to put into those deals?
Yeah, I mean, they're so multifaceted whenever it comes to these more complex project-based or account-based situations. But I mean, it's interesting that you say emotional because especially on the residential and really on the farm and ranch, the land and ranch side as well, it is emotional. I mean, these could be, generational family ranches and that side of it. So there is a lot of emotion tied to it. Whereas being on the development and like builder account side, of course, we're still dealing with direct to consumer and aspects of it, but we also have that flip side of it that is a little more commercially driven in a way. So it is less emotional. It's more it's more about helping them run their businesses and their performas and projections and such as well. So there's a little bit more of that science to it on that side as well. So it's fun to be able to kind of take off your like residential consultant hat and then be able to work on these things that are larger project based. And we're able to kind of also bridge that gap between consumer perspective and what the builder and developer needs to keep in mind whenever we're talking about the profiles of target buyers for the end product. So it's fun to be able to kind of shift between different types of roles within it and different types of language and conversations as well.
That's right. And marketing, it sounds like, is really woven into that, which was your area of study in college. And so how has that popped up for you?
Absolutely. It's funny you bring that up too. I mentioned earlier I've been doing a lot of rebrands this week. So being able to I guess in the past 2 weeks or so, we've actually done brand and logo development for two different of our developments. We have a third one that's in process as well right now. So being able to take my background and my formal education and be able to implement it into that is great. Of course, we have plenty of contractors that we outsource and work with. We have an in-house marketing director too, but being able to go back to like where it kind of started for me too,
Yeah.
and be able to have a little bit of that creative output, if you will. Outlet, that's the right word. Creative outlet there is a lot of fun. But yes, we're working on brand development, brand positioning, it could be rendering site plans, like things of that nature too. That it's very, very, very multifaceted. So we have like one development right now. I mean, there's 7 different pieces of marketing that is all happening behind the scenes before this project is even done. So it's a lot of fun to be able to be involved in all of those different phases of those projects.
Absolutely. And marketing and branding has been really important for you as Ashton Agency, and was a big part of what you wanted to create that was something that was different. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So ultimately, real estate is a traditional industry. I mean, it's been around. I mean, really since the state of Texas became the state of Texas, essentially. But with that, it has evolved over time. But with general, and it's changed again since I got into real estate 11 years ago. But um, there's a lot of repetition in terms of what these brands look like. And it seemed a little antiquated, if you will. So being able to come in with a fresh and versatile brand that could shift between product types was really important for us. So that it was an elevated yet approachable brand that could be representative of a $300,000 residential listing, but also a $30 million ranch or a $50 million development, and it's able to kind of transcend those different product types. So it's versatile, if you will, but elevated, fresh, warm, authentic. Like that was really the driving force behind the brand. And from a lot of incredible community and public feedback, I feel like we kind of hit the nail on the head there, and people see us as different, fresh, and elevated.
That's right. And you said versatile there. I think that's something that is an important part of how you approach your clients, is looking really at the client need and building your solutions really to support that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, others, we like to say that we're able to, and we're proud to be able to answer the questions and figure out the problems that other people can't. And I think that comes so much from network and resources and relationships too. I mean, of course, we have the client relationship, but then there are so many different facets to real estate, and especially the different types of real estate that we're in, that being able to have those relationships with vendors and contractors and consultants and other things like that is immensely important to being able to you run into a problem or a snag in a deal. It's like we might not be able to like directly fix the problem, but we know where to go to be able to fix it or where to get those answers from.
That's awesome. Resourceful.
Yes, we're pretty gritty and tenacious. That's for sure.
Love it. So you've taken on a lot of roles over time, broker, designer. You also do so many different elements. You mentor and you take that really seriously with your team. And even TV personality. Was there a time over the last decade of service that you really took a leap that felt risky or felt disruptive for you?
Well, launching the company, I mean, that's the number one. I mean, that was kind of the first big, big jump, if you would, or biggest jump, if you will. But going from being an independent agent to being the founder and leader of an organization was, I did not know what I did not know at the time. And then we talked about kind of the chapters and the evolution of it too. It all just changed so quickly. I would say my first, how long did I last? I think I lasted about 12 months before you came in as a consultant. And I was waving my white flag saying, "Hey, I don't got this. I need help. Please come help me." But being able to learn how to like one, just build and develop an organization, but really the most important next step in that was being able to hire the right people and bring the right team together. Aside from our agents within the company, the staff side of it, and figuring out what those roles needed to even be. Like I didn't even know what people I really needed and how many people and what that support looked like. But it's been a very organic evolution and especially with your help and helping us figure out how this company runs most efficiently and what type of person needs to be in specific roles. And looking back now, there were lots of pain points, lots of hard points through all of that. But we really have structured out an incredible team between our director of operations and transactions, Barbara, who is an absolute godsend and has been amazing, really keeps the train on the tracks. My partner and COO, Colby Stewart, she comes from so much of an operational wealth of experience in her past position, but being able to come over and do all the things that I am not good at, I really in this time figured out what are my strengths and what are not my strengths. And anyways, in-house marketing director and others as well. But that to say, it has freed me up to be able to work on what I am good at and being a visionary and a connector and being able to bring in a lot of these larger opportunities for the company as a whole. That's really where my time is best spent in many ways. So being able to have an incredible support staff that is so much better at their roles than I could ever try to be, so that I'm able to focus my time and energies on things that are helping to grow and elevate the organization as a whole.
Yeah. So like most leaders, you were an incredible individual contributor in your business, individual producer, and then you needed to shift to being the person who facilitates other people's production, continuing your own, but you're providing a platform as a broker, an environment for other people to succeed. Was there an identity shift there that you had to work through, or what was that like?
It was whenever I was kind of going through that transition earlier on and realizing that I think I've always been a natural leader. And I consider myself to be more of a mentor than a teacher. I'm really, I would say I'm pretty skilled taking good agents and making them great. So really kind of stepping into and figuring out a structure behind being a leader and being a mentor, like that was a big step in that direction. But yeah, it's been such an evolution. I really have to say I'm proud of myself for growing as a leader. And again, I give you so much credit for helping me get there and helping me learn how to be able to wear all these different hats. And I mean, still today, I wear a lot of different hats. And so trying to keep balance in my day and being able to, as seamlessly as I can, transition between these different roles and responsibilities and such has been a skill that I've learned over a long time, because it still is every day. I'm switching gears, I'm switching hats over and over, but becoming more proficient at those skills, like just as a leader, as a mentor, like that is a skill in and of itself, and to have refined that over time, and to have balance there, has been a learned skill. And there were some hard points in getting there and figuring that out. But I mean, I feel at this point, being, over 5 years in, I feel like I've gotten to a very healthy point with it, and ability to be able to handle a very large workload and be able to shift and pivot between those different skills and responsibilities.
Absolutely. But as you've built your confidence across all of these areas of understanding one element of real estate to running a business, which is a completely different endeavor. Hey noticers, if you're dreaming of glowing, healthy skin, you must try Henna Azul Korean skincare. Myung Chong has been transforming skin for 27 years with facials so good, they create the Henna Azul glow. I've been going to her med spa for years, and my skin looks better than ever. Her products use medical-grade ingredients that truly nourish your skin and keep it radiant. Visit hennaazul.com to explore her amazing products and services. That's HANNAISUL.com. Now go get your glow. What's something personal that you've had to work through behind the scenes that's created a change for Ashton?
Well, there's two things that come to mind, and you're gonna laugh whenever I say this, but one of the best things that gifts you ever gave me was only do what only you can do. That goes back to the team and the delegation aspect of it, but it was hard for me because this company was my baby too, and I'm like, well, I can do all of these different things, so I'll just do it. I'm probably not the best one to do it, but I'll just do it myself too. And so but noticing how that was just absolutely wearing me out, and it was very detrimental to my mental health. Honestly, it was just I got to some very low burnout points, and for me to be able to continue to be a strong, stable leader for the organization, I had to create those boundaries and really lean into that delegation. So today I am an incredible delegator. I am really, really good at delegating now. And I realize that it's a necessity to be able to stay strong and to be able to bring the most value to the organization. So that was really number one. And I'm sorry, repeat the question again, because I had a second thing I was going to say.
Yeah, something personal you've had to work through behind the scenes as you've grown your business.
Yeah, it's boundaries. I mean, I really think that boundaries and work-life balance has been one of the biggest things, and it has taken me years to get there. And to recognize, like, when my fuel tank is getting close to empty and not pushing it too much. I mean, there still at this point, I mean, there are weeks that I'm working 60, 70-hour weeks. I mean, we have heavier weeks, but I really try to keep that dialed in. Whereas many years ago, I mean, that was normal. I mean, I would keep that cadence and that amount of work capacity, and you just can't keep it up for that long. And so I realized that if I wore myself out, then I was not good for myself. I was not good for my team. I was not good for the organization. And I have to be respectful of those boundaries and know where where my limits are.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some of those boundaries that you've put in place? You mentioned the number of hours, but what are some of the ways that you approach that?
Yeah, I think that, and I really try to teach my team this too. I mean, we talked about, like, real estate in so many aspects is very, very emotional, and clients can get very emotional, and, like, things complete like fire drills often, and sometimes those are real. But I something that I've implemented is, and tell my team all the time, is do not make something urgent that is not urgent. And you have to be able to differentiate between something that is time sensitive and urgent and absolutely has to be handled right now, and what can be pushed to the next day. Like, if there's a non-time sensitive text that comes in, or an email from a client at 8 o'clock at night, like, respect yourself and respect them as well, to create that boundary and respond to it the next day. And I think that it helps so much with burnout of being able to differentiate between like this has to be done right now versus things that can get pushed to the next day, and just
Yep.
being kind to yourself with not having that anxiety around like and having to respond immediately. And that has so much to do with our culture right now,
Mm.
especially with technology and with social media, and you're instantly accessible to everyone. So you have to put up those boundaries and those limitations on it, just to not wear yourself out and to have respect of yourself and respect of the professional relationship as well.
That's right. And I think there's this knowing or being able to prioritize differently, because over time, as you go through the reps, you figure out where all that anxiety may have actually been wasted. Like that ended up not being a big deal. But when you're a newer entrepreneur, when you're building business, everything's a big deal.
Right. Yeah. Everything is the end of the world. Everything is intimidating. Everything is scary. Everything feels big and aggressive. And that comes down to just, you're working your mental aptitude as you're going through years and years of this. And I really try to give my agents that mentorship and that coaching of, hey, here's an example of how I thought my world was ending in a similar situation many years ago, but like you do not need to carry this stress and this anxiety around it. And being able to give them those examples of helping them keep their peace too and keeping stability.
Yeah. Yeah. This makes me think too, because a part of what is important for someone who's brand forward is staying on top of media relations, staying in the press, doing these community focused and forward facing activities. And I wonder if this evolution and kind of maturity of how you approach the business, what matters and what doesn't, changes how you approach kind of media awards, public recognition.
Yeah, I will say we don't shy away from it at
Yeah.
all.
Bring it.
Yeah. And it's important to, whenever you have these extremely hardworking, goal-oriented entrepreneurs, essentially, which are all of my agents, it's you get to these different, thresholds of success and such. And we all have to be mindful of, you've got to stop and celebrate these. Like just because you're ready to do the next one and trying to push yourself to the next level, we have to stop and we have to appreciate, acknowledge, and give ourselves some kudos on it too. So as an organization, we're very mindful about making sure that our agents are receiving that recognition, that the company is receiving, deserved recognition in that way, and that we're not just blowing and going and not stopping to be able to celebrate those things. Because I mean, you've got to give yourself a pat on the back and to really give a reflection on, wow, like look at where I am now compared to where I was a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it is, and being able to give yourself some, a little bit of self-love and appreciation for the journey.
Especially when you're in that space where you may not be getting the public recognition yet. It's like you're baking something, and the smell is not filling the kitchen or filling the living room yet, but you've done all the work and you're like, it's gonna hit, like the impact is gonna get there, but I may not be in the magazine or the newspaper yet or on the show, which you're getting those things. But all this time you've been show worthy, right? But you have to build up all those pieces and be so patient, so steadfast and reliable to
Yeah.
reach this level.
Yeah, it's this being successful in this industry, if we just look at it on like on a producer, on an agent basis, is this is not for the faint of heart, and it takes a long time to get an established and a sustainable business too.
Mhm.
And there are harsh points of burnout too. I mean, we kind of touched on different points of the why behind that. But that to say, like, you have to stay steadfast and consistent and figure out what that pace, what that cadence needs to be, so that you can build a sustainable business. And that actually kind of leans into how we encourage, how we coach, how we mentor our agents into building sustainable businesses within their client relationships, niches and specializations, and overall relationship maintenance in their business, to be able to create businesses that are entirely repeat and referral based, which the vast majority of our company is that. And that's where sustainability comes into, that you're not just chasing the next carrot, but you have a very strategic and intentional approach to building a long-term, sustainable, healthy business.
That's awesome. Are there, as you look over the next several years, you're still in a phase of high growth as you have been for the last 5. Is there anything that you're continuing to work on as a leader? Kind of what's your growth edge?
Growth edge. Two different things there. I think that there's one, being adaptable. There's a lot, as we know, that this is across all industries, but from technology and AI, and being willing to explore those and be able to implement things, be able to keep a competitive edge in the industry. And those are some things that we're actively working on the back end on that side of it. I mean, that's from an adaptivity. Wow, I can't talk today. From being adaptive, I think that is extremely important. But on the flip side of that, I think there's also the things that you have to hold steadfast to and be consistent with. And for us, from a size, culture, and essentially like quality standpoint, we've had to be so incredibly intentional and thoughtful in who we bring over into the company. We have maintained such an incredible, strong, warm, supportive culture here at the Ashton Agency, which has just been, it's the thing that we're really most proud of. But with that means that we're not a fit for every agent. I mean, between personality, backgrounds, books of business, and just if they're a culture fit or not. So that to say, maintaining that and not getting fixated on like growth, like what am I trying to say? Milestones per se,
Yeah.
timelines and deadlines, is we want it to be organic. And so with that, in terms of the perspective, it's really like stay the course of how we've done it, continue to do what we've done. It's worked really, really well. And ultimately the right people end up finding us too. That's been important. I mean, we've talked about that. Like, we don't go and pull a list of the top 1,000 producing agents, say we're going to go and set meetings with every single one of them, because ultimately then we're turning into recruiters. And
Right.
that we want it to be people that choose us and people that we choose. And with that, it has to happen organically. But I think that our reputation and position in the industry here has really it has created some magnetism that we're drawing in the right people, and that's really where our strength and our quality comes from.
And this goes back to the kind of what's important as you figure out, as the environment changes, as you adapt appropriately, what are those enduring values that are guiding you? And what are some of the things that we may have assumed at the outset that really aren't providing value? And we can say that's something we're going to refine.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it has to be a prioritization of where does our focus need to go? I mean, we only have so much time in the day and bandwidth, and we have to be very diligent in what we're choosing to work on, and what is bringing value and bringing growth to the organization, and what are things that, no, let's not can it, but let's put it on a different list, and we'll revisit that whenever we feel like it might be of more importance to us.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you something that's going to become a ritual on inner work.
Okay.
To close us with, what's one mindset, one value, and one daily habit that keep you steady?
Okay.
So start with one mindset, and then I'll cue you for the other two.
One mindset is, I would say, to continue to always dream big. And we again talked about the evolution of this, like what my goals and dreams were 5 years ago or 3 years ago, have gotten bigger and bigger.
Nice.
So with that, it's again being able to celebrate those accomplishments and those milestones that we've reached, but and giving yourself grace and appreciation for those things, but but still, once you get to that next phase of not plateauing and
Mhm.
still being able to set your sights and visions on bigger goals, and especially with the experience, opportunities, and accomplishments that have already happened, of being able to then take it to the next level from there. So a little vague, but I mean, ultimately appreciate what you've accomplished and where you're at, but continue
Big.
that to continue to springboard that into other big goals that are going to be a blast to try to reach.
That's awesome. Okay, now one value.
One value. I don't know if this is a value. If you tell me if it is or not. I would say be kind to yourself. Again, this is an industry and a job that burnout is real, and ultimately, I mean, I said it earlier. If you're not good, you're not good for yourself. You're not good for anyone else. And so, with that, you have to be consistently cognizant of being able to take care of yourself so that you're able to be the best version of yourself in a professional setting.
Awesome. Self-compassion. Dream big, self-compassion. And then last but not least, one daily habit that keeps you going strong.
Honestly, being able to keep your body and your mind strong, I think is it goes hand in hand. And so with that, truly working out, getting up in the morning, getting my day started with that, and having some me time also, I think is immensely important. I think that being able to have a consistent, bedtime, wake up time, and being able to have that structure to be the bookends on your day, I think is so important to be able to do your best work. You have to kind of get in the right mindset with it and have that structure in place.
I love it. Ashton, thank you so much for spending time with us today on Inner Work. Such a joy to see you.
Yes,
Everybody. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time on Inner Work.
Thank you.